raise funds for volunteers in medicine and project access. Golf for Good. Register now at vinchat.org.
Download the Local 3 News and Weather apps now.
You know, there are so many beautiful parts of the Tennessee Valley, and we have the great privilege on 3+U of having a chance to get out and see a lot of them. But where we are this morning might be a very special view for a lot of you. Perhaps you've never even seen it before. No doubt you're going to want to come and pay a visit. We are at Skull Island talking with Rick and Connie Odell, who are really the creators now of this beauty before us. So good to see you both.
Good to be here.
As I'm understanding the story, it's kind of a long one, is that this land, 18 acres, was owned, still is, by TVA.
Right.
And for a lot of folks watching, they're thinking, oh yeah, I've heard the stories of camping at Skull Island. But it kind of fell away, right, Rick?
Yes.
So y'all came in to save it.
Yeah, the campground was closed for 5 years, and we came in after COVID and started to rebuild. Our company, Vista Recreation, has a 30-year easement with TVA to manage the campground for TVA. So we came in after COVID and started the rebuild process, and I think we opened in May of this year. So it's kind of new. It's old, but it's also new too.
It's beautiful is what it is. It's just off of Highway 58 basically in Harrison. And it would be real easy to miss the turnoff. But once you're in, you're so glad that you made it, because all you see around you is the water and you hear the birds.
Right.
It's beautiful. How many campgrounds do you have? Do you know, Connie?
There is over 500. Vista manages over 500
But
campgrounds.
here at this location, you have about, what, 70 something?
Oh, this campground, I think there's 70 sites.
Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned, though, that Vista has the 500, because the reason you and TVA worked beautifully is that y'all have kind of perfected what it means to have a campground that's welcoming and comfortable, but doesn't completely eradicate the nature.
Exactly.
Which is why people want to be here.
Our company is a concessionaire with government entities and some private entities. We manage for U.S. Forest Service, we manage for some state parks, and then we do a lot of stuff for TVA in Tennessee and Alabama. But the majority of our business is out west in the U.S. Forest Service campgrounds.
You're big believers, though, something that runs through all of your properties and will be the case here, is you want this to be a place that families can come and enjoy. So you monitor that. There's no raucousness going on when you're here.
No, we run a pretty tight ship. We wanted to be a safe place where you can bring your kids and grandkids and feel safe in the environment and enjoy the nature, you know.
You picked this spot for a reason, because, you know, in Tennessee, our summers run long. It's going to still be swimming weather for a ways to come.
Exactly.
So we're at your beach.
Yep.
You've got this section cordoned off where it's a safe area to swim.
It is. It is. We don't have a lifeguard on duty, but everybody swims at their own risk. But in the summertime, especially when school's out of session, it really stays busy here, you know.
Well, let me ask you something, because when COVID hit, y'all mentioned that's kind of when you took this over. Everything changed for people, and one of the easiest things to do when there was nothing to do was to get outside in nature. So it's become very popular, camping has.
Yes.
I would imagine that you've got to be a little bit careful on how long people can stay when they camp here, because you want everyone to have a chance to come. Is that right, Connie?
Yes, there is a 21-day stay limit.
Okay. Y'all are only open as a company for a certain time of the year. You kind of take off in the winters, right? So people's time to come this season is limited.
Yes, we have a few campgrounds that are open all year, but most of them are closed during the winter months.
Okay. I'm looking around and I'm seeing an awful lot of campers, of RVs. Is that a big draw?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it
So
is.
Whether you choose to be here in an RV or you want to pitch a tent,
Yes.
Right.
is it still the 21-day limit?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And TVA does that so everybody can have a chance to come in and enjoy it, you know. There's nobody can come in and actually live on the campgrounds. It has to be open to everybody to come in and enjoy it. So that's,
But you can do just a weekend jaunt.
yes, absolutely, yes.
And what's the best way for people to sign up to do it? On your website?
If you're wanting to camp here, it's www.camprrm.com.
Okay.
And we're actively, continuously trying to find camp hosts to work on these campgrounds. And so you can also go to that website, and there's a little box that says become a camp host or a work camper. You click on that and fill out an application, and we'd be glad to get with you on an interview and try to get you hired in as a camp host if you want to live here and work here. It's a paid position. So
the first thing I said, I don't know if you heard me because you were on the phone when I first got here this morning.
Always.
But I pulled in and there was a group of them around to welcome us in, and my first words were, what a beautiful office to go to every day. So this could be somebody's office.
Absolutely. Yes.
I do want to ask you too about the kind of the lore of it here. I know we're going to come back and talk to you when we're closer to the end of September. Might be a more appropriate time, but it is called Skull Island. No one really knows the reason why.
No, I've tried to research the history to see why it's called Skull Island, and I can't find anything concrete. We've heard some stories about if you're flying across in an airplane or a helicopter, the actual island itself looks like a skull. And then there's some old stories about some floods back years ago that, and so we don't really know why. We don't know a whole lot about the history. All we know is that TVA had the campground here. It was closed down for about 5 years, and TVA wanted to open it back up. So we came in and we agreed on a 30-year easement contract, which means that we operate for TVA under TVA guidelines.
Well, it's beautiful. I can't compare before and after pictures, but I sure can take a look at the after, and you've made it very welcoming. I do want to point out one more thing that I think you had said, Connie, and that is that for those who do want to come in with a camper, y'all are offering kind of an introductory time where they can book for 2 months and forego that 21 day.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
They've got a special on it. I would have to get the manager to do that.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the price is on it.
Okay.
They could call the office and she could give them all the details on it.
It was a great deal because you never know around here when the foliage is going to really peak.
That's what I was going to say. In Tennessee, it's beautiful in the fall, so that's the time to really come.
So if you want to have a bird's eye view, you can come here, pitch your tent or your camper, have some very comfortable, safe, family-oriented living, and see the fall emerge as you've never had a chance to before.
Right.
Thank you both so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to town.
Thank you.
So here's the information that you heard Rick and Connie give you, the website where you can go online even now and reserve just a weekend getaway. If you do want something a bit more extended, the best thing is to call the office. That way there's no risk of anything being entered in an incorrect way. Bring the kids, your grandparents, come out and enjoy really a piece of forgotten beauty in the Tennessee Valley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Save thousands now at our largest Labor Day sale ever. Over 1,000 hot tubs in stock as low as $24.99. Made here